How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome to the first episode of something very, very new and something I don't know heck of anything about, if I'm honest. Okay, so this visual novel is called Jiangshi Daoshi. I'm sorry, I'm slaughtering that, I'm sure. Jiangshi. Okay, so it's a... Okay, from what I know, this is a fabulous entry from Fruitbat Factory. Again, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, sharing this with me, and they highly recommended it. I guess it's been one that's they've been working on for a while now. And as you can kind of see here, one of the things apparently that makes this stand out is the fact that it's kind of a wacky, fun story, but it's also got a lot of animated action scenes, I guess. So, not sure exactly what that means, but I'm sure it'll be like, in certain scenes, it'll be like watching an anime for a bit, which will be kind of fun to see. I think its title that came out in Japan like a while ago, like the art style kind of denotes like this could be older, but again, I've been avoiding spoilers and stuff, so I know very, very little about this. But I guess this is, you know, the first time it's been translated properly and sent over. Also, I gotta give a shout out, because this is apparently the last translation work of a guy who worked at Fruitbat Factory, who's done the translation for pretty much every Fruitbat Factory title we've covered, I believe, including things like Seabed, which was one of my all-time favorites, and the translation was fantastic. So it was done by Conjurer, who did a lot of translating for them, but he tragically passed away, I think it was last year. I don't know the details, I didn't really pry, but it was really sad for the company, the Fruitbat Factory, the company, because he did a lot of really good work and just was very talented at what he did. And apparently this was the last project he worked on and wrapped before his untimely demise. So, salute to you, sir. Thank you for what you've done and the enjoyment you brought to me and my channel. But yeah, nope, this should be a very interesting adventure. I know so little about this. I don't know what we're even getting into, which is part of the fun of my Friday series. You know, I literally select something that's not crazy popular, something that's not being clamored for most often. Usually it's something small, maybe something new. It's like either new or newly translated. So this will be just an interesting experience for us. So let's start it out and see what where this adventure takes us. But thank you for being here. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you find some interesting stuff to stick around and continue to enjoy with. There's visual novels all the way through pretty much. If you're finding this for the first time, I've covered some favorite visual novels, Love Love, Science Gate, Seabed, and there's so many more to explore. I only discovered visual novels probably 4 years ago now, and I've recorded my experience with pretty much every visual novel, because after playing the first couple, I realized it was something I really wanted to share because nobody else in my life liked them, and so I started sharing them online, and that's kind of where the channel came from. It's a passion project, something I just love to do. I like to analyze, I like to talk to you and kind of share my thoughts. I try my hand at the voice acting, even though I'm terrible at it, but I mean, I'll do what I can. And so yeah, thanks for joining me, and let's get started. Oh, I don't like your eyes already, buddy. Alright, so it does have voice acting, which means I don't have to try and do all girl voices, which is... thank goodness for all of us. Yeah. Taoism? Is that the duality system? I'm honestly not sure if I am, so I'm going to be very grateful for this explanation. Also, by the way, I was able to get my hands on an early release. Turns out that they did have to do some censoring to make it Steam friendly. From what I've heard, the censoring is not likely to be over the top. Like the way they put it is it's not 18 plus, it's 17 plus. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see the return of coconuts, who knows? But otherwise, should be fine. But I'll let you know if I have to cut something out for some reason. Anyway, the word denotes art. Okay. So, I'm not sure what this no image thing is. I hope that's not a problem. Again, this could be an early build, so who knows if I'm having a glitch or something. I have no idea. Okay. Okay. So this is very much like maybe Taoist or Buddhist, mythological lore. This is something I actually want to learn more about. I find that there's a lot of cultural aspects to Japan, Korea, China, I never got exposed to growing up, and I find it all really fascinating. I enjoy religion and history and folktale, like all of that. So I'm color me intrigued. Okay.
キョンシーを退治したり、刺激する霊言同士などが有名ではあるが、まだまだ知名度が高いとは言い難し。
Alright.
これは道術に使えるもの。同志たちの物語。
So, those who mastered Taoism are called the Daoshi.
どうぞ、しばしのお付き合いを。
Alright. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I like him. Oh, so I do. Behold, a place nestled deep in the mountains, covered in lush vegetation, shall serve as our initial stage. An area that, save for its bustling abundance of chlorophyll, possesses hardly a notable trait of worthy mention, now gives home to a bizarre peculiarity. Allow me to bring into our view closer to it. Someone was running along the steep road that even wild beasts would courteously decline to traverse. They pressed ever onward, at times leaping over bamboo bushes, at others using tree trunks as launch pads to attain more speed. Almost like a ricocheting bullet or rubber ball. An inhuman feat, being performed by someone that was undoubtedly human. Run, boy, run! The thrum of life echoed through his ragged breathing. It was a young man, 16 years of age at best. Something was following him at a furious speed. Ooh. I drew closer and closer to the young man, crushing bushes, smashing trees, and trampling over unlucky fawns. Oh, fetch! What is this? Oh, sounds like a tree. The young man collided with something and tumbled down to the ground. Turning around, he saw an aberration towering over him. Ooh, what the heck are you? Oh, that's horrifying. That looks like a nightmare. It was a grotesque monstrosity in the shape of a massive human head attached by a single large leg. Is this... Okay, I've only dipped my toe into folklore, Japanese folklore. Is this a monster demon that I'm just not familiar with? Like, the large head thing I know is kind of a thing, especially... But I've always... Ooh, that's genuine nightmare fuel. The thing wasn't alone either. Two more of his kind lurked close by. Ooh, there were one-legged abominations called Donko. Donko. A type of yokai, yes, a demon, that normally lived underwater and feasted on human flesh. The Donko opened its wide mouth, exposing a cavity that seemed strikingly maladjusted to the marine life. Would have no doubt raised the eyebrow of any seasoned evolutionist. Foul-smelling saliva sloshed around between the creature's glistening rows of sharp white teeth. I'm not sleeping tonight. Ah, fetch! The Don Cow lurched after the young man. Would this mark the end of his life? A moment later, the Don Cow's head separated from its body with a blinding flash. This is reminding me already of, like, Demon Hunter, or... Was it? Yeah, Demon Hunter, the anime that recently was big and popular. It rolled to the ground and soon turned to smoke, dissipating into the air. Hey! I approve of this! The blood-soaked steel that carried out the deed glimmered in the light of the sun. There she stood, a mysterious female Daoshi, wielding the hollowed Kanzan blade. Kazan blade. Not Kanzan. Kazan blade. She looked no older than 9. Though the Kanzan blade itself is quite modest in size, being held by such a petite girl made it appear more like a two-handed sword. I am liking how animated this is. It's actually impressive. My lord. The girl addressed the young man in a strangely archaic manner.
Oh,
Daoshi, so he knows what a Daoshi is. The young man answered in an aloof tone. He either possessed an incredible capacity for composure or had a few screws loosed. This definitely wasn't the behavior of someone who had just stared death in the face mere moments earlier. Yeah. Ling Ling. Cute. I wonder, so is this more grounded in Chinese folklore, or is it Japanese? I'm not sure. And so Ling Ling hurled her hollowed blade at the two remaining Danku. I darted after them like a fierce bolt of lightning. However, all it pierced was empty air. Uh-oh. A deafening rumble reverberated across the ground and trees. A Danku's most intimidating feature was his tendency to jump. The movements were impossible to follow with the naked eye. It's as the text. However, the young man's pupils tracked the Danku's trajectory with minute precision. A second later, he yelled at the girl's direction. Yeah. The Danku lunged at the girl's defenseless back, only to explode like a set of red spider lily fireworks. Ooh. Oh, beautiful. A moment before it could catch up to the girl, the apparition's body separated from its head. This was the work of the very same sword the girl hurled at the monster earlier. Rotating like a pinwheel, the blade soared in the air with a will of its own. Ooh, it's got like Thor's hammer, but a sword. The Kazan Holy Sword was a type of whirlwind blade. Increasing its rotation even further, it darted after the last remaining Danko. Ooh, look at that. I wonder if this was ever made into a full-fledged anime. Like a star crashing down from the heavens above, it split the Danko clean in half. And then promptly changed directions and flew back toward Ling Ling. She caught it by the hilt, seemingly having done this 1,000,000 times before. Yeah, fetch! I want that sword! The young man approached Ling Ling in the laid-back gait. Ling Ling, however, remained silent, with the hilt of the sword clutched tight in her hand. Uh-oh. At that moment, Ling Ling fell to the ground. The young man caught hold of her light frame. Okay, what? Uh-oh. A terrifying sound reminiscent of a beast's growl washed across the forest. Readying himself for a new yokai, the young man scanned his surroundings but spotted nothing. He then realized the sound was actually coming from the girl in his arms. I'm already interested in this dual mood where it's like horrifying horror action and absolute hilarity. Upon uttering those words, Ling Ling lost consciousness. Fetch, girl, eat food more! What is... This is an interesting screen. Boy meets girl, the prologue. Aww. So, Luan knew. That's who we are, or following. Ling Ling wolfed down the food with an expression of bliss lighting up her face. Her cheeks were swollen like a squirrel's. Oh, fetch. Okay, so like in the spiritual realm, like proper breathing can sustain your body. That'd be nice. A light blush ran across her swollen cheeks. Embryonic breathing was a form of Taoism that involved inhaling the force of nature into your body. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Is almond tofu a real thing? That sounds amazing. Luan Yu brought the quivering almond tofu to the table. Yeah. After a single bite, Ling Ling's face melted in joy. A moment passed, and she began stuffing her mouth faster than she could swallow. She closed her eyes with every piece of almond that entered her mouth, savoring its taste and smell, her face blooming like a flower with every gulp she took. So like, it's weird how the text fades out completely and then comes back. It makes it hard for me to read exactly where I want it to be. There was something endearing about her constantly changing smile. She is adorable, isn't she? And now she's speaking about herself in the third person. Yeah, very country style. Ling Ling tilted her head at the unfamiliar word. Luan switched on the TV. On screen, a giant monster opened its jaws to launch a fireball. Startled by the sudden development, Ling Ling jumped backward, knocking over a chair behind her. It's interesting talking to a person who's she's obviously spent so much time in the spirit realm that like modern stuff doesn't make sense. It's kind of an interesting idea to like have someone who's innocent trying to like confront the world after who knows how long.
Eh?
Surprised by Ling Ling's reaction, Luan changed the channel. The screen switched to a cartoon of some sort. Is that a Mickey? Oh, yep. Ling Ling gazed at it with much interest. They were now airing a cooking show. Oh yeah, that looks good. That's like real food too. What the heck? Her mouth began to water. Soon enough, the same monster flick from earlier came back onto the screen. Ling Ling hid behind the chair.
面白い
Luan thought to himself as he observed Ling Ling's reactions. Ling Ling scrutinized the TV from all angles, poking it with trembling fingers.
リンリン様、テレビをご存知ない？これは、遠くの画像をどこでも見れるように、同日風に言えば誰でも点2眼を使えるようにする装置なんですよ。
Interesting. So this guy's obviously pretty like well informed about the whole Taoist issues. I wonder if he wants to become a Taoist or if he just like maybe he has a family member who was one. Second sight. Oh, that's kind of terrifying. Like it's genuinely terrifying. Why? Well, don't do that. Xeon skill that allows one to observe any location found in the 3 realms. 3 realms. What realms are those? When perfected, allowed one to know all that was to know about the world, even if they were trapped within a small box. At times, one could even use it to have a peek inside people's hearts.
我が山ごもりしている間に下界の文明はここまで発達していたとは。
3 realms. So would that be the physical realm, the spiritual realm, and then maybe the cognitive realm? It's interesting. These are ideas that I was introduced to through Brandon Sanderson, a fantasy writer who uses the 3 realms interchangeably, and effectively he has people called world hoppers, who effectively would be these Taoists. Access to power and the other realms. But this is implying that that's a really old idea, which wouldn't surprise me that he got inspiration from that, but like I've literally just never heard of it being an actual like part of like mythology. Ling Ling extended a hand toward the TV. She seemed intent on climbing inside.
リンリン様、何年くらい山ごもりしてたんですか？
Yeah.
500年である。
Great. Alright, so this is gonna be one of those tropes, huh? She's like, oh yeah, she's super, super small and tiny and looks like a child, but it's okay because she's 500 years old, doesn't fly. She obviously mentally is not 500 years old. Yeah. The 9-year-old looking girl struck a confident pose.
マジっすか。パネっすね。
You can't take that in stride. Ooh, intro. Jiangshi and Daoshi.
我は火山波動術を世に広めんがために下界へ参ったのだ。
Ling Ling declared with her hollowed blade held aloft. What's this music? This is already so crazy. I don't think I've ever played a visual novel quite like this one before. It's very interesting so far. I'm liking the style. I also kind of like how like the dialogue flows. Like how here, this is a style I don't think I've seen in a visual novel up to now, where like she speaks the words and then I continue the line almost like I'm reading a novel. So I wonder if this is based on a light novel, and like the way they decided to transcribe it into the visual novel format was this style. I can see like a light novel wanting to get a more animated version, but maybe couldn't like lock down an anime deal, especially because this came out even more than like 5 or 10 years ago. Like light novels were almost never considered for anime, as far as I understand it. So maybe this was like the compromise for the writer to kind of have that animate style be applied to their work, which would be really interesting. Kazan served as a sacred ground of Chinese swordsmanship. Okay, so we are in China. It was also the mountain where Xian would retire. The Daoshi of these parts transcended through their mastery of swordsmanship and were a fairly combat-oriented bunch. As far as Luan knew, this was the first time any of them had come down from their holy mountain.
いいんじゃねですか?
I almost want to no, no, okay, well, I guess I'll just stay in here. I'm worried the music in this part's like too loud, so I might have to adjust the settings next time, but we'll see. I also did not see a way to save, so how does that work? We'll have to discover that together, I suppose.
ということでルアン、そなた弟子にならぬか?
Okay.
え?
Yeah, what?
ここで出会うたのも何かの縁。特別に我の一番弟子にしてやろう。それに、そなたの料理を毎日食べたいしな。
She said Ling Ling as her stomach growled.
弟子を取るというより、プ
Oh,
ロポーズみたいな言葉っすね。
it kind of did, but you better be joking.
プロポーズ？なんぞそれは。
Yeah. Ling Ling tilted her head to the side.
うん。男女間でずっと一緒にいてほしいっていうもんっすよ。
よくわからぬが、そのプロポーズとやらでよ。我と一緒にいてくれ。
He's like, wait, I thought you were kidding. Her eyes light up with excitement.
あ、いいっすよ。で、
It's pretty cute. A warm smile sat upon Ling Ling's face.
下山するときはちゃんと弟子ができるか不安だったが、よしよし。
じゃあ早速道術を教えてほしいっす、リンリン様。
ほら、これからは我のことは師匠と呼べ。
Rat Sensei.
了解っす、師匠。
Sisha. Ling Ling's features melted into an expression of genuine happiness.
師匠、
Yeah, she loves it.
先生。おしさん。
They repeated this a few hundred times. The new moon waned and fattened back up. The sun repeated its predestined course across the sky. The stars drifted toward the west, and so an entire month came and went.
この1ヶ月、動員行基で気は練ったな。
Doingyoki. Doingyoki was a method of practicing Taoism by absorbing ki and spreading it across your body.
では、これより道術の基本、壁抜けの術を教える。
Sweet! That would be amazing!
この術には、ウホを用いるのだ。
Uho. Uho is a special way of walking one needed to perform in order to enter the hallowed grounds. It made its first appearance in recorded history on the scroll of Baoputsi, circa 1700 years ago. Ling Ling pushed her hand against the wall, and without any apparent resistance, it sank into the wooden frame as if swallowed up by a body of water. Before long, her entire body disappeared to the wall. Fetch, that would be sweet. Dang! I want to be a Taoist. Yeah, he's like, dang. But Luan sounded an impressed whistle. Uho transposes one's being between the physical world and the spiritual world of the Xian. And so, by utilizing this property, the peculiar technique of passing through the walls was invented. You could pass through any sort of physical boundary by transposing your body to a different dimension. But what stops you from falling through the ground?
どうだ、すごいであろう。だがこれは道術の基本に過ぎぬ。自身の存在をずらすことにより、触れることのできぬ妖怪変化に接触できるようになり、見ることのできぬ勇気亡霊を目視できるようになるのだ。
Ling Ling declared, her voice replete with palpable pride as she peeked her head out of the wall.
あ、師匠。
なんだ、まだ我が説明している最中ぞ。
Yeah.
いや、その。
Oh no. Of course. Ling Ling's clothes lay on the ground. That was quite a blunder. Waiting to show off in front of her disciple, Ling Ling mustered too much of her power and ended up phasing through her own clothes. It's barely editing that, by the way. With her body transposed into a different dimension through Uho, Ling Ling's hands vaguely grasped the pile of clothes on the ground.
師匠大丈夫っすよ。自分が拾うっす。
A sharp contrast to the flustered Ling Ling, Luan reached out toward the girl's clothes with perfect composure. He's just perfectly chill. Ling Ling stuck a charm on Luan's head with a scream. Oh, is she literally gonna blind him though?
お？何も見えない。
Yeah, that's awesome! The moment Ling Ling uttered her spell, a thick darkness enveloped Luan's vision. He lumbered around the room with unsteady step like a zombie. I think I know where this is going. Oh, can't you, like, undo it? Meanwhile, the weeping Ling Ling tried desperately to reclaim her clothes.
先ほど見せたのは金銭奪獲の術といって他者の服を脱がせたり自らの戒めを解く術だ。決して術を失敗したわけではないぞ。
Yes, of course, Sensei. Why on earth would I expect anything otherwise? You know, with all the crying and screaming and desperately trying to put your clothes back on.
分かってますって師匠。それよりさっき自分の視力を封じたあれは何すか？
Yeah, that was cool.
禁符といってな、様々な現象を禁じることができるのだ。動きを禁じたり、先ほどのように見ることを禁じたり、妖怪などは存在そのものを禁じて退治することもできる。
Jeez, how is anything a challenge when you can literally stick a charm on them and just be like, you are erased from history and future. Okay, you just don't exist. Ling Ling dangled one of her forbidden seals in front of Luan's face.
なるほど。
Uh...
動くな。
Luan pulled the charm out of Ling Ling's grasp and stuck it on her forehead. The girl froze, in place like a paused recording.
あれ、聞いちゃった？
Yeah, that was a little too easy.
冗談っすよね師匠。
Oh, I accidentally clicked. Sorry, curse you hand! Look, if you continue to stay like that, I might just help myself to some hands-on experience over here. You dirtbag. I don't know what he's poking, petting, touching, or squeezing.
マジで動けないんすか？
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
あ、そうだ。
Oh, you better not.
動けないんなら今日の分の師匠のおやつ、自分が食べちゃおうっと。
Crisis averted. Luan opened the fridge and pulled out a cake. He then began guiding it into his widely open mouth right in front of Ling Ling.
それじゃあいただきまーす。
Quiver, quiver.
あれ？
Aww. Okay, fine. Pit pat. Ling Ling began to tear up, her face flushing beet red.
冗談っすよ師匠。泣かないで。
Aww. Ling Ling's reaction cracked Luan's wall of composure for the first time since the two met. I can't help, I'm smiling through this whole thing. This is great. Oh my gosh. Ling Ling reclaimed the cake and began munching on it the moment she was released. Her expression would break into a smile with each bite, but tearing right back up as soon as she swallowed.
師匠、マジ悪かったっすよ。
Ling Ling gave Luan a pouty glare.
何でもするっすから。
ケーキ、
Said Ling Ling as she wolfed down the cake.
ケーキが食べたい。
今食べてるじゃないですか。
丸ごと1個食べたい。
Oh boy.
ああ、了解っす。材料切れてるから麓の町まで買いに行ってくるんで、ちょっと待っててください。
我も行きたい。
Ling Ling leaned forward.
え？いや、師匠まだこっち来て1ヶ月じゃないですか。街中に出るにはもう少し現世の勉強をしてからの方が。
But with you, won't she be okay?
何でもするって言った。
Ling Ling glared at Luan with teary eyes.
仕方ないっすね。
I heard something.
それじゃあ町に行きますけど、迷子にならないよう自分から離れちゃダメっすよ。
Ling Ling beamed in joy. Her tears from moments before now seemed like a distant memory. Again, the music's pretty bumping, isn't it? At the foot of the mountain lay a common town. Common buildings, common roads, common people. It was as though commodity itself was the place's only trait. Of course, for her. Nonetheless, Ling Ling's eyes sparkled with excitement as she took in the unremarkable scenery. Why did it show Greek statues? Ling Ling's gaze settled on a car.
Luan, あの鉄の獣は何ぞ?
あれは車って言って移動用の道具っす。
見れば中に人が入っておるの。我も使ってみたいぞ。買うてくれ。
We can't just buy one.
無理っすよ。結構高いんすから。それに車を運転するには大人になって免許取らなきゃいけねえんすよ。
我はもう500年の時を生きた大人だ。子供扱いするでない。
Well, okay.
あっちの二輪の乗り物は何ぞ?
The bicycle or motorcycle?
あれは自転車っつうやつですね。
Nice.
車は燃える水を動力にするんすけど、自転車は自分の力で漕いで進むんすよ。
Burning water. Is he just summarizing it for her?
子供も乗っておる。あれならば我が乗っても構わんのだろ。欲しいぞ。
Well,
でもなあ。
洗濯物を取り込むのを手伝うから皿洗いもするぞ。頼むルアン。
Ling Ling tug on Luan's sleeve.
まあ、ちゃんとお手伝いしてくれるんならいいっすよ。
Ling Ling confidently straddled a red bicycle made for children.
どうだルアン。まるで軍馬にまたがった武将のように凛々しいであろう。
Sure. She flashed a bold smile. Apparently, this made her feel like a hero leading an army of thousands.
そうっすね。いいんじゃねえすか、師匠。
よし、では行くぞ、関とバゴン。
あ、名前までつけてるんだ。
Yeah. Ling Ling began gently pedaling away on the bicycle. It wobbled a few meters forward and then... Yep. Toppled over, just like that. An indigo darkness colored the evening town, shedding its mundanity to cloak itself in somewhat wistful atmosphere.
なかなか難しいの。
Dang, how many times did you try? Ling Ling, covered in bruises from head to toe, pushed her kiddie bicycle down the road.
帰ったら練習しましょう。手伝うっすよ。
頼むぞルアン。
Ling Ling snickered.
どうしたんすか、師匠。
下界はいろいろなものがあるの。火山で修行していただけでは知ることができなかった。
Hey, why did you come down, though?
そしてそんな下界で初めて出会えたのがルアン。
I
そ
think
なたのようないい人でよかったぞ。
I have a feeling there's definitely something off with you, Luan, and like I feel like he positioned himself where he was on purpose.
どうも。
Ling Ling's straightforward candidness nearly made Luan blush.
これからも我と一緒にいてくれルアン。
ういっす、師匠。
It happened as the two continued down the road. Yo, Luan. A man's voice filled the barren streets. Sounded friendly enough, but not without a peculiar raspiness to it. Luan turned around and saw three men standing behind them.
なんだルアン、そなたの知り合いか?
Ling Ling looked up at the motionless Luan. He remained silent, and simply glared at the men with a look that could kill. We've been wondering what you've been up to ditching the organization. Man, who'd have thought you were out here in the boonies picking up little girls, huh? One of the men let out a vulgar snicker.
組織?
Maybe Yakuza? Ling Ling tilted her head at the unfamiliar word. I take it he didn't tell you. Short stuff. This guy here used to be our #1 Shashu. Assassin.
シャーシュ。
Ling Ling considered what Luan with anxious eyes. He might pretend to be Mr. Nice Guy around you, but he'd eat off anyone for the right price. Even someone your age. What? It all ended in a blink of an eye. 2 backhand blows thrown from each of Luan's hands shattered 2 of the men's jaws, rendering them both unconscious. Fetch! Ow! Not even Daoshi Ling Ling's eyes could fully register what had just occurred. The 2 men collapsed to the ground, a mixture of blood and shards of teeth drooling from their mouths. Luan shoved the side of a knife into the remaining man's mouth. Blood trickled down the corners of his lips. The man let out an incomprehensible whimper.
余計なことを言い過ぎだ。
Luan uttered in a whisper, his gaze ice cold. He looked like a different person altogether. The man's words had triggered the mechanism for violence that lay dormant inside him.
このままそのおしゃべりなしたごとは顎を切り取る。
Yep, there was definitely something off about him.
そして喉を通って肛門まで一直線に切れ目を入れ。
Jeez. Luan continued in the tone that could send a chill down anyone's spine.
生きたまま皮を剥いでやる。
A low crashing sound reverberated across the empty streets. Luan turned to see Ling Ling staring at him with frightened eyes. The bicycles toppled over at her feet. He slowly put the knife away, his face now reflecting a certain kind of embarrassment. He then straightened Ling Ling's bicycle back up. Don't think you're off the hook, Luan. You will chase your traitorous hide to the ends of the earth. I won't rest until you're in a body bag. As Luan and Ling Ling began walking away, the man shouted at them. Well, that puts a wrench in things, doesn't it?
その先ほどの話は誠か？
マジっすマジっす。俺シャーシューだったんですわ。100人は殺してるっすね。
Just casually. Luan answered her in the usual laid-back tone.
なるほど。本来は水中に住む鈍行が森でそなたを襲ったことを少し妙に思っていたか。染みついた血の匂いに誘われたか。
Ling Ling made a short pause and looked at Luan again.
しかし、なぜ？
質問が不明瞭っすけど、まあ思い当たることを片っ端から。
Luan began his story.
自分は生まれた時から組織の人間で殺し技を仕込まれてたんすよ。
This is cool.
そ
This
のことを疑問に思わなかったし、
animation
人
style
を
here.
殺すことも特に何も感じませんでした。それ以外何も自分にはなかったんで。
Right.
人はただの標的。世界は俺と組織と標的だけ。シンプルで分かりやすいそんな世界観が正直嫌いじゃなかったっす。ただ生きるには楽ですし。でも
Luan placed a strawberry cake in front of Ling Ling before continuing.
飯がうまかったんです。
Ling Ling gave Luan a confused look.
ある時料理人を殺した時、そいつが作っていた料理を何気なく食ったんすよ。衝撃でした。組織での飯はプロテインにビタミン剤、他はサプリメントのそっけないもんばかり。
Huh.
そんな俺の舌にその料理の味は衝撃的で深淵で、世界が一気に広がりました。なんだろう、今までただの標的だった人間の作ったものから未知の情報が一気に与えられて、今まで自分が殺した人たちももしかしたら俺の世界を広げたかもしれないって思うと、俺の知らない何かを与えてくれたかと思うと。
What an elegant, way to expand, a character. He has that kind of, dark, mysterious background, but what an interesting way for him to kind of, awaken to, the reality around him.
だけど同時に今まで悩むことなく生きてこられたシンプルな世界観が壊れていくのも怖くて、気がつくと組織抜けてました。
Huh. Who was that? Ling Ling listened to Luan's story in silence.
すんません師匠、話が支離滅裂で、自分でもなんだか自分がよく分かってなくて、師匠の弟子になったのも おっかなびっくりいろんなことを知ってみようと思ったからなんすよ。
Hmm. Luan bowed his head.
初弟子がこんな殺人鬼で申し訳ないっす。どうか破門にしてください、師匠。
Dang. Dang.
ならぬ、それはならぬぞ。
Ling Ling vehemently opposed Luan's suggestion.
人を知り、そなたは殺人鬼ではなくなった。そんなそなたの世界を広めるは師匠の務め。決して見捨てないぞ。
I would argue that, like, while it could be really dangerous to teach these types of techniques to somebody who can be so violent, especially at the drop of a hat, I imagine that the philosophy behind such techniques might help open up his mind enough to the point where maybe he could move past his past.
それに、我はそなたにプロポーズしておる。あれはずっと一緒におると誓うことなのであろう。
ああ、それなんすけどね。あの時はちゃんと説明しなかったですが、プロポーズってのは。
Scratching the back of his head, Luan explained what the proposal meant. What's it saying? I won't die in a truck? Is that him trying to, like, not be izakai'd or something? At first, Ling Ling listened calmly, but then she finally understood the meaning. Her face flushed red like an octopus.
なんとそのような。
ま、不肖の弟子ですが、師匠のおそばに置いてほしいっす。
よかろう。ただ一つ条件がある。
After that, Ling Ling stared Luan straight in the eye.
もう人を殺してはならぬ。
Hmm. Her voice was all but a whisper, but it reverberated to the depths of Luan's heart.
うい。
Ooh, interesting.
よし、それでは約束通りケーキを作って。
Whoa, what the? Her words were cut short by Luan's sudden embrace. He pushed her to the ground, towering above her small frame. Uh-oh.
ルアン、確かに我はそなたにプロポーズをしたが、
Oh no.
ポーチを行うにはまだ早い。
Sound of gunfire filled the entire room. Oh, crap! Pieces of shattered glass and furniture rained down on the two.
なんだ、この落雷のような轟きは。
Ling Ling's body stiffened under Luan's weight. A group of men with machine guns surrounded the lonely mountain shack. Among them was the man Luan had met in town just a while earlier. This is the end for you, traitor! The men sprinkled gasoline on Luan's house. Light it up! The very moment a man, who was likely the group's leader, gave the order, Luan's house burst into flames. The men pointed their guns at the door of the burning house. We'll see if you'd rather burn to death, or return it to Swiss cheese. Make your choice, Luan you! The man flashed a malicious grin. The stench of smoke tickled their nostrils. But no matter how long the men waited, no one emerged from the house. Guess you chose to die among the flames, huh?
いや、違うよ。
The man suddenly heard Luan's voice from behind. He turned to see half his men already lying unconscious. Some had their shoulders dislocated or their jaws shattered. Others had their legs twisted. Oh, ow. How'd you get outside? The man screamed like he'd just seen a ghost.
ああ、壁を抜けたんだよ。
Luan answered in his usual relaxed voice. The remaining men pointed their AK-47s at Luan. Wouldn't you be immune to bullets with that technique? Ah, the sword. But their muzzles ended up getting cleaved off by a spinning blade. What? Huh? What the? A small shadow gallantly glided toward the surprised men. In a split second, Daoshi Ling Ling attached her seals to the men's foreheads.
動くな。
As she pronounced those words, the men immediately lost control of their bodies. Ling Ling curiously picked up one of the few remaining machine guns that were still in working order.
ほうほう、現代ではこのような武器があるのか。どうやって使うのだ？
Careful! Ling Ling began fiddling around with the firearm like a child would with a toy. Her pinky accidentally pulled the trigger. The machine gun fired off a volley of bullets. They hit a hair and clothes of the men, leaving bald patches on their heads. Yeah, that's not good. The men turned ghostly pale, having just escaped death by a literal hair's breadth. It would have been beyond humiliating to die in such a way. To lose one's life in a comical accident was far more terrifying than dying at the hands of a respected assassin. Aww.
すまぬ。撃つつもりはなかったのだ。大丈夫か？怪我はしてないか？かすめて血が出ておる。待っていろ。今すぐ気候で治してやるぞ。
She's so nice.
師匠、人に殺すなとか言っておいて、うっかり人殺さないでほしいっすよ。
わざとではないのだ。大丈夫。死人は出ておらぬ。
まったくもう師匠は。さてと。
Luan slowly approached the leader of the men.
こんなにシャーシュー連れてきちゃって。ま、聞いてたと思うけど。自分師匠に人殺し禁じられてっから安心しな。
Interesting.
でも、もう二度と余計なことしないように。
Oh no, what is he gonna do? Luan pulled out his knife.
両目をえぐって手足の剣を切ろう。別に死なないだろう。
The man let out a odd chuckle as Luan approached him, then pressed a button on the remote control he was hiding behind his back. Next moment, the neutralized Sashu nearby Luan exploded, causing gory chunks of meat and entrails to run down upon the ground. Press the wrong button.
お前、シャーシューたちに爆弾を仕込んだのか?
Jeez. You got a problem with it? Their only purpose is to kill you. I'm simply helping them do their jobs. The man pulled the remote control out of from behind his back. Screw this. I'll just blow them all up at once.
大丈夫。この距離なら回避できる。いいな。
When Luan saw as he turned around, was Ling Ling treating the wounds of one of the Sashu. He dashed toward her with all his might. He leapt forward, pushing her onto the ground and covering her with his body. A blinding flash followed. In its wake, a deafening explosion shook the very mountains. Ling Ling screamed, her eyes moist with tears. Lying on his back, Luan looked up at the girl. The shrapnel from the explosion left wounds all over his body. His life was hanging by a thread.
師匠。
なんだ、ルアン。
ケーキ作れなくなっちゃったっすけど。いいっすか?
Fetch, man.
バカ、こんな時に何を。構わぬ。だから生きとくれ。
すいません。ちょっと無理っぽいっす。
Ling Ling's tears pattered down on Luan's face. Luan slowly wiped them off her cheeks. They were the kind of tears one would shed at a close friend's deathbed. To Luan, who had spent most of his life robbing and killing, it felt mysterious and unfamiliar. However,
悪くないっすね。
and with that, Luan's heart came to a stop. Fetch! I didn't think he would actually die! Holy crap! I did it. I managed to off that dang Luan. The man ran joyfully along the mountain path, still clutching the activated switch and his remote bomb. How did he not die? His entire body trembled with excitement. Gotta get promoted. Huh. The next moment, the man's arm disappeared. Youkai. Accompanied by gnawing sounds coming from only a few inches away. A single giant leg and unnaturally large head attached to it emerged from the darkness. A donko was snacking on the man's arm. A group of donko had surrounded the terrified man. Well, that's all she wrote. And then came a violent scream, followed by the sound of teeth ripping at flesh. Okay. Are you serious? Luan woke up in response to the sunlight caressing his cheeks. Fetch, man, how did you do that? Ling Ling flashed a smile that outbeamed the sun. Relieved, Luan guided his fingers to the wrist of his other hand.
脈がない。
Hmm? He then realized there was something attached to his head.
これは 金符
She's like sealed his life. Ling Ling's expression clouded over.
すまぬルアン。そなたはもう死んでおるのだ。
What?
助けることはできなかった。
マジっすか。俺今死んでんすか。
What? Luan answered the same relaxed tone he usually had.
我にできたのはそなたの魂魄が肉体から試算するのを禁じることだけ。
So he's a zombie.
そなたは教師になってしまった。
Jiangshi. Ling Ling started at the crowd apologetically.
ああ、いいっすよいいっすよ。別に構いやしませんって。死んでるっつっても考えたり動いたりできるんでしょ。だったらもう満タイっす、師匠。
To be fair, that almost sounds like kind of a perk.
相変わらず軽いの。
Ling Ling gave Luan an exasperated look, then tightened her features and looked at him straight in the eye.
だがそなたがいいと言っても我の気が済まぬ。必ずそなたを一回らせてやるゆえ安心いたせ。
Interesting. Ling Ling puffed out her chest. Her gaze burned with determination, yet those with observant eyes could also perceive a hint of relief in the flames.
どうもっす、師匠。自分はそんな師匠に何をするべきかというと。
Ling Ling's stomach interrupted Luan's voice, demanding an immediate refill. The girl's cheeks blushed slightly.
ま、とりあえずは目の前の師匠にうまい飯を作るってとこっすかね。
Sounds like a plan.
期待しておるぞ。
Said Ling Ling with sparkling eyes. Holy crap. Okay. This feels like the end of an anime episode. Alright, Ling Ling, what do you got for us?
これはもうテレビとやら映っておるのか。うん、そうだ。辞書機能とやらを追加したぞ。
Dictionary function.
これは道術の専門用語などを解説してくれる大変便利な機能なのだ。
Okay. It's awfully convenient, you know.
わからぬ単語の上にマウスのカーソルを合わせてみるという。
Oh, that's cool.
我が名リンリンにカーソルを合わせるのだ。クリックしてはダメだぞ。あくまでマウスカーソルを単語の上に乗せるだけだ。
Okay. Ling Ling. Fool. What?
我を伝える解説が出てきたであろう。
Sure it is. Sure it is.
ただこの辞書機能は全ての単語に用いられているわけではない。
Man, this would have been interesting to try and program, huh?
また時にはどうでもよい単語にこの辞書機能が使われておる。そのような箇所を探すのも面白いであろう。
So now it's like a hunting game to see, like, so I'm gonna, yeah, like this. A new function added in the second chapter. Now you can guide your mouse to the cursor to highlight terms to learn more about them.
では本編に戻るので我の活躍を刮目して相対すべし。
Sounds good to me.
ギョンタオ、3秒クッキング。中華は火力、電動電気道の提供でお送りしました。
This game is just flummoxed me. Ingashi x Daoshi, Episode 2, The Fable of the Fake Elixir of Life. Book 1, Steel Form.
またお会いしましたな、皆々様方。
Now here's the thing. I really want to save here. I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna have to try, but I might have to come back here manually. But this is where we're gonna end for today. So here we'll return. We'll just stay here for a bit. Holy crap! What a crazy entry! That's one of the best first parts to a story I think I've ever read. So much interesting stuff happened in there. There was nothing that was over-explained. There was nothing that was under-explained. I'm left with tons of questions that I want to have answered, like, what's the role of the yokai? Like, why are they all active here? Like, is this world, like, knowledgeable of them or not? Like, how are they going to bring him back to life? He's freaking dead. That's crazy. Does he always have to have the thing on his forehead? Like, can they move it without him, like, just keeling over? I don't know. There's cool stuff to do, man. Oh, I hope this one gets a lot of attention. Good grief. Like, this is such an interesting start to a story. I am blown away. I'm genuinely super excited to continue this. I also wonder how long, like, these parts are going to be, because this prologue, or whatever this introduction was, felt super short. But a lot happened, so it's very compact storytelling. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but I'm a big fan. Thank you so much for recommending this one to me, man. Holy crap. This was an amazing trip so far. It's really interesting, like the balance of the wackiness and then the violence is like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to contextualize it and put it into like a category of any kind. But yeah, no, I am super, super fond of this, so thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Stick around to keep up. This is going to be a Friday episodic thing, so I hope you continue to come back for it. And, you know, yeah, like, spread the word. This is something that a lot of people might not hear about. So if you know somebody who, like, enjoys watching or even experiencing visual novels, like, maybe think of sharing this. This is one that, like, just very, very new. Like, if I can, I'll have a link to, like, the Steam page so you can buy it. And if you can, like, play it yourself. Support the developers. That's something I always say. Like, too many visual novels get pirated. Too many visual novels are just, like, offered for free. Remember, we want to support people who create such amazing things like this with our wallets. That's not just me saying, like, oh, piracy is bad. It's more the idea of, like, do we want people to keep making stuff like this, translating stuff like this, and creating new ones? Like, we need to let them know that we're willing to support them. So highly encourage you to buy this if you find it interesting. Read it yourself and then, like, watch with me as I experience it and, like, share my, like, thoughts on it as we go. More importantly, though, just, you know, keep being cool. Thank you so much for being here. You guys really mean a lot to me. It's great to be able to do this channel. I hope that if this is your first video with me, that there's enough here to convince you to come back and to keep sharing these experiences with me. Otherwise, I hope you continue on your journey and find a lot of good other content to watch. Yeah, I'm really happy. Like, I'm all grins here, but also, like, all questions. I'm bright-eyed. I'm, like, really excited to go into the next part. So make sure you stick around for that. And until the next video watching me, I hope to see me in next. I'll see you there.